So I'm going to give you guys a disclaimer really quick. I'm not saying that this game is the way that you have to play, I'm just saying this is how I played them. Okay? Okay.
Prepare for battle.
First things first, starting items. These items are like, when I think my lane is going to be easy as a melee hero, I buy this. Mainly because if you can get the first 2 creep waves, and you get your poor man shield, and you can buy, you know, a ring of regen, a ring of health, the side Shapazam, you're pretty much good to go. I looked at their team comp and pretty much just said, I'm going to be against offline Earthshaker, so I knew my lane wasn't going to be super difficult. Worst case scenario, it's going to be like Bloodseeker plus Earthshaker, which is still like terrible because the Shadow Demon pretty much has to go top, Sark pretty much has to go top. Pretty easy to decide what lanes are. Okay, let's fucking play this shit. Running to lane.
This one is
Okay.
in the bag.
If your lane's gonna be hard on AM, obviously buy more regen. Like, don't start with a Quelling Blade, start with a Stout Shield, 1 Tango, 1 Salve, 2 Branches.
30 seconds to battle.
It's a really good starting item. Basically, the reason why I buy this so much is because the branches basically count as extra tangos, because obviously if you tango a tree, you get bonus raccoons. It's good. Mini heal. Fucking, let's do this. Okay, so I saw the Earthshaker pretty much confirmed that I was going to be against a solo ES. I looked top burn to see what the fuck's going on, because nothing's happening. I'm just running to lane, so I just decided to see if my bounty hunter was going to die. He doesn't die, and I block creeps. If you're not getting the rune and you're going to the safe lane, you should pretty much do this every single fucking game. There's not a game where you shouldn't be blocking. Sometimes I block the range creep, sometimes I don't. Typically, you shouldn't. The only reason I'm blocking it here is because I was kind of expecting that guy to block too. And if they both block, then the range creep things just attack each other and it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so he actually didn't block very well, and I blocked better than him, which means lane's in a good position. I fuck up my first 2 waves here pretty badly. Should pretty much get all of these creeps. There's like no way this guy should ever be able to contest me. I want to note something like right here. If you look at my positioning versus him, I know that in a 1v1, a hero with a really shitty base mana pool like Earthshaker typically doesn't want to trade when he doesn't know if I have level 1 mana break. It's only 28 mana burned per hit, but if you look at it, if I hit him fucking 10 times, he's If I hit him 10 times, he's he has no mana, he pretty much can't stay anywhere. So the fact that I'm standing on the other side of the creep wave, I'm not actually clicking on him, but I'm just zoning him, right? So it's harder for him to get in on the wave. If he wants to get in, he has to right-click me and pull my creeps backwards. I'm trying to get farther away from the creeps to... I actually fucked that up. So, I'll tell you what I was trying to do. So obviously, like, I was zoning him here. When I hit this, like, I'm hard denying my creeps to get his lane to push in further. If his lane pushes in further, then there's a much better chance that he's going to be, like, totally isolated from the lane and can't get EXP. So the bigger distance between this creep wave and like the tier 1 tower that's down here, the better. So I want to get this as close to my tower as I can without it actually being in tower range. So what I do is I hard deny. I want to walk up here and I want to hit him, but I clicked on him too soon. And by clicking on him too soon, I pulled creep aggro. So like this was a mistake because I pulled the range creep and the melee creep back, which inadvertently makes me miss CS and pushes the lane into a worse position. So now I've already put myself in a spot where, yeah, I think this is where I miss all 3 creeps. So me clicking on him basically just made me miss 3 CS. I have 2 range creeps, which means that CSing is obviously harder. I went for a play to get the lane in better control, and I fucked it up. It's really bad. Really fucking bad. Shouldn't have missed any of those creeps. Should have had much better lane control right now. The lane should be further down, closer to my tower, too. It's really bad. Alright, open this fucking shit. Okay, so at this stage, I'm just like, fuck it. Whatever. I don't care. I'm just going to start pushing in a little bit because I know that my Lich is nearby, and, you know, worst case scenario, lane gets really shit, and then he just starts denying range creeps anyway, so it's fine. My Lich actually takes the range creep here, which is obviously not the best, but we make do. And you see, every single time that guy walks up to the wave, I'm putting myself in front of the creep wave, so he knows that he's running the risk of getting attacked if he wants to actually go for the creeps. So here, this is another really important thing too. If you look at the game clock, I actually think I fucked this pull up because I thought I pulled it like a second later than I did. If you pull it at 52 or 53, you go straight down to the lane. If you pull it at 54, you have to go through this little path right here. I started going down that path and then realized that I had already fucked it up. So this pull should basically go through. He gets denied a whole creep wave, his wave comes down, and I get the free farm. But this is another mistake that I made in the laning phase. I'm pretty sure this gets fucked up. So I get a range creep. It's like, whatever. Denying the range creep is fine. I actually get his too, which is nice. I get the mini centaur, I think, and then I just blink back into lane. I didn't miss any of the wave for this, which makes it an efficient fuck up, but it was still a fuck up. I don't ever want to trade with this guy, by the way. If you'll notice, like, I'm trading with him now because I want to put him out of mana, but Enchanted level 1 only costs 20 mana, and it hits real hard. Level 1 is a DD, 2 is like, you know, triple damage. It's really, really, really painful. So people who were asking me why I wasn't, like, freely trading with him in lane, the fact that he's level 3 right now just means that we fucked up our lane equilibrium really hard. This guy got a lot, and he should not have gotten nearly as much as he did, but sometimes you fuck up your lane, and then the Earthshaker punches you in the face. Fortunately, I'm still farming pretty well. I missed probably like 4 or 5 CS. I don't think I missed too much more than that. Just the first few waves trying to establish, and then, yeah. Here I'm just not scared because I have regen, I'm close to getting Ring of Health. I have the Tango going. I know that he's trying to enchant Totem me, so it's very easy for me to just avoid it. Just cut the tree and get back. I put the lane in a much better position too by pulling the creeps away. Closer I am to my tower, safer I feel. I do that a lot when I'm playing safe lane. I just like to pull the creeps back and put myself into a situation where, you know, if the mid decides that he wants to gank me, I'm going to be sitting under my tower, which obviously makes it a bit more difficult. But this is actually another issue in of itself. There's 3 goddamn range creeps. 3 range creeps is not great. I think it actually takes me a while to get to the side shot because of that. I fucked this up. I thought that the tower was going to attack the range creep first, so the reason I dropped my quelling there is if you have level 2 mana break with the quelling, and you hit the range creep once, the tower will 2-shot it and kill it. But you don't actually 100% of the time do enough damage to get the range creep reliably with that amount of damage, so I just dropped the quelling to ensure that a 2-hit plus a 3rd hit would guarantee the last hit. But again, I only lose that on like 1 or 2 CS. Could be farming better. Missed a lot this game actually, compared to what I normally do. Blink in, hit him. I know he's almost out of mana. He uses Mango already. This guy is like having a real sad time now. He's actually got 11 CS though, which just means that we played our lane pretty fucking badly. Like all those little tiny fuck ups that I did in lane pretty much made him get that farm. So here I buy the Ring of Health and the Ring of Regen. I knew the Shaker was pretty much a non-factor in the lane at this point, but I just wanted to make sure that I had regen so that I would actually, you know, not just die if I get ganked. My Lich isn't controlling the runes at all, which is kind of annoying because I'm pretty sure that Shaker didn't even have mana to stun. Why didn't I get stats? I could have gotten stats this game. It's not necessarily that it's a bad thing. I went 2 points into feedback because I knew that I was going to be laning against a melee. I put 1 point in the spell shield because you pretty much always do that no matter what. I probably could have saved it a bit because I wasn't really taking any magic damage in lane, and maybe a point or 2 into stats would have made me miss less CS. It's definitely something you can do. I just didn't do it. And these types of games, to be honest, stats are probably better because my biggest concern is Bloodseeker during the mid game. That's the guy that I want to avoid like the fucking plague until I have a lot of items, right? Now, fortunately, I'm still farming much better than the Slark, which is a good sign, because I think at this point, like, the Spirit Breaker bounty combination is putting a lot of pressure on him. So I have a pretty good lead on him in terms of CS. I have, like, 13 more at 5 minutes. It's a pretty significant margin. And I'm not even farming well, right? Like, at this point, my Lich wants to go in, so I buy boots, realize that the creep wave's there, decide that we're pretty much not getting the kill, and then I just back out. And this is the point where my Lich dies because he walked into a full creep wave. I mana void because I know he's out of mana, but then I realize that the Lich doesn't have very high level of nuke and this guy just walks away. So no reason to chase him. It's a very easy juke for him to just walk into the tree there. Because I pretty much have no way of knowing where he goes once he goes into fog. A lot of people will stand there and just wait for you to blink so you can walk back. Some people will walk straight, some people will pretty much just do a 180. It's completely random. You either get lucky or you don't. So I went for the play to get lucky, and I did not get lucky. You're basically playing like 33% odds. There's 3 different things you can do there. I should actually pull here, I think. Yeah, I should pull here. AM's a very hard hero to play properly, yeah. You have to understand your timings very well to make AM good. And in games where you're behind, a good AM can still win you a game, but a bad AM will guarantee that the game is over. It's not the greatest. So here I wait a little bit. I think I go for a pull as well. I think I get my purse. Yep, there we go. I should be able to make the pull, cut the tree. 53 seconds, pull it straight down. This will also stack it, which pretty much guarantees that the creep wave is going to die. My team is battling middle lane. I looked at the minimap here, but obviously I'm not really in any shape to fight. Even if I had a teleport scroll, I have fucking 100 mana. I wouldn't even be able to blink if I TP'd at this point. So I'm basically just playing the farm game. In the beginning, we were really, really far behind in terms of like fights, because you can see my team is like getting dove at the tier 1. Like I'm looking at all this on the minimap, and I'm just going, there's not shit I can do about this. Like sure I had mana void, but still don't really have enough mana to fight. Now I'm actually looking to see what the state of the fight is. See that my team is getting pretty dumpstered. I'm like, okay, whatever. Behind 4 kills at the beginning of the game. I just said I would do the AM game at some point, so I'm just keeping my word, you know. Normally in a lane where you're totally free farming, what you want to do is you want to pull so that the creeps die, and you pull the lane back, and then you go kill the creeps after the fact, right? Or you kill the creeps while your pull is there, and then blink back to lane to kill those creeps as well. Because it's very efficient to do that. You get the camp and you get the lane, plus you're not tanking the creeps yourself because you pulled. So you're not losing any health, you're not losing any mana, you're just very, very safely farming. You'll notice when that Bloodseeker came into lane, the first thing that I did was I clicked on him, because I didn't know what level he was. And I needed to know if he was going to be 6 soon. And the reason I leave the lane at that point is because if that guy hits 6 and the Earthshaker is there, I can very easily die. Because the Shaker, I think, is level 6 right now, even though he doesn't have Echo up. Like, I don't know that, so I'm just assuming that that guy is still level 5 walking back here. And I'm just going, alright, well, this guy, if he's in the lane, I might die, but I'm taking a little bit of a gamble. Like, I'm actually so scared, I just right-click that guy, pull the creep back to last hit it, and then I just sit under the tower. Because I have no idea where Brown is. I'm assuming he's level 6. I'm like, if I get ruptured and there's a stun, I can just die straight up. You can't blink away. If you try to TP against an Earthshaker, he has 3 ways to stop you. So at this point, I'm very, very scared. I buy treads just to make myself a little bit stronger in lane. This is a kill that I think we might have been able to get. But he has max enchant, and I'm like looking at him, he has stick charges and bottle, and I'm just like, it's not worth it. My mana void at best right there hits him for like 250 damage, and it's just not really worth the investment. Plus again, I don't know where Brown is, because we don't have any fucking vision. We literally had 0 wards right now. So I don't got a goddamn clue where that Bloodseeker is, and if I get echoed and enchant totemed and ruptured, I'm still dead. The thing that I'm prioritizing the most right now in my play is keeping myself alive. Being alive on AM is pretty much the only thing that you fucking care about. Like, if I'm not farming 100% optimally and I'm still getting CS, that's fine. As long as I'm not getting fucked by Brown. That's all I want this game, is to stay away from that guy. I debated actually TPing here, and then I saw the Slark ulti, and then I was like, okay, there's pretty much no way. There's no way I can do anything about that.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So another thing about Anti-Mage when you're playing against heroes like Bloodseeker, or playing against anything that has really good gank potential, playing off the map is very important until you are strong enough to actually show yourself. Because in games like this, I have one fucking hero that can actually stun, and that's my my SP. So you notice I get ruptured here. I make sure the Shaker's dead before I start to channel my TP. That's the first time that we actually saw a gank, and I saw that guy coming too, because we actually had a lane ward down. So I knew exactly what I wanted to do as soon as I went in, because we saw Brown as soon as the Shaker started chasing. And if I had hesitated even a little bit on that TP, the Shadow Demon probably would have disrupted me and I would have been dead. So that TP saved my life, wasted a Rupture cooldown, and it also makes me a little bit more safe to, you know, go back to wherever and just continue to farm. Yeah, Vlad's this game was solely... I'm playing against Bloodseeker, so I want to stay at the highest amount of HP I can for as long as I can. And sometimes you're going to take a little bit of harass in lane. You might not necessarily die, but getting the health back is very important so you don't give the Bloodseeker more damage, and obviously you're never going to get to that low health threshold where he can see where you are. How does a Shadow Demon on an enemy team play into your skill build this game? He doesn't, really. I don't play around Shadow Demons when I play against them as Anti-Mage. I just focus on doing what Anti-Mage is supposed to do, which is split push as soon as your Battle Fury's up as much as you can, and then obviously avoid ganks. Like, I played super safe this game comparative to my normal AM games because I just understood that we're already behind. If I die a few times before my Battle Fury gets out, or God forbid, like between my Battle Fury and my Manta timing, I'm gonna have a real shit game. So more than anything, if Brown is off the map and I see like one other hero in lane, I'm not going to that fucking lane. I am 100% staying away from that. Like, you can see right here, I'm like debating if I want to show myself in that lane. I didn't even know the Shadow Demon was there, but I didn't know where the Bloodseeker was, so I just didn't want to take the risk. And I just TP across the map. That way, if the Bloodseeker ganks me, I have ward. I can actually see it coming unless they smoke, which obviously this is like a mid 5k game, so they didn't actually try to smoke to kill me here. Make sure I'm carrying TPs. I ping out my TP right there. You can't actually see it for some reason, I don't know why. But I ping out my TP, I saw the Bloodseeker, I instantly blink forward, I farm. That hero is the bane of AM's existence. And then CS lol, obviously. So that guy dies, I'm like, fuck yes. Bloodseeker's dead, I can pressure the lane super hard. You'll notice that when I look at the team fight, I'm going straight for the tower. I'm not fucking blinking into the jungle to farm. I'm looking at the team fight. I told my team my TP was on cooldown. I'm just literally pushing as hard as I possibly can. I want to force a TP. I want somebody to TP to this lane, or better yet, I want somebody to, you know, ignore it and then I kill the tower. Obviously that's not going to happen. And because the fight is over and two of my teammates are dead, I decide to back off. We do have pretty good vision right now though, so I'm not really in any immediate danger, but as you can see, Brown is alive and I'm back in the fucking woods. Do I think the Bloodseeker played too passively? A lot of people don't understand what to do when somebody's not showing on the map. Like, what I'm doing this game, I feel it's the right way to play it. Because an AM can take over a game like this very easily. There's two really good mana void targets. There's not really a huge amount of disable. It's just the Rupture that makes me scared. So if I can farm fast enough to the point where I'm not really worried about the Rupture anymore, and I can man fight, then I know that I'm gonna have a good game. So even at this point, when we're behind like 6 kills, look at how fucking passive I am. I just TP across the map again. I saw the Shadow Demon come in my jungle. I'm assuming that guy warded. He de-warded the jungle too. There's one other hero in lane. I don't know where Bloodseeker is. I'm fucking out. Peace. That's it. I'm not sticking around. There's absolutely no point in me putting myself at risk. Normally at games like this, you would probably have at least one support who could bail you out, but I had nothing. I have a Lich. A Lich doesn't offer really anything to me outside of the laning phase, except for an armor buff. So I don't have, like, a disruption, I don't have a heal, or any sort of fucking defensive mechanisms whatsoever. I'm pretty much just playing around the fact that my team is basically going to be useless for me, and I need to play as if I was the only one in the game. That is literally how I'm playing this. Slark TPs. I have to spend a little bit of time up here in the jungle. Again, Brown's off map, so I blink up to make sure that he's not going to be coming in from behind. I realize eventually that that blink was actually a risk. If the Bloodseeker was behind me for whatever reason and I blinked like that, I was going to die because I had no TP. So I would actually say that that second blink was too ballsy and I probably should have just waited for my TP cooldown. But I took the risk. I didn't die. It's kind of nice. Don't farm Ancients, by the way, until you have your Vlads or a Vanguard, because you're just going to get shit on. Are you still out if they push your bottom tower, risking losing control of your jungle? Yes, absolutely, I'm still out. Because I can't fight them. Like, if I get disrupted, and then I get ruptured and purged, that's it. You know, I'm dead. I'm playing around the fact that we have a Tinker and an Anti-Mage. I'm not playing around the fact that I want to go for fights. Like, sure, we have a Spirit Breaker and a Bounty Hunter, which is great, but I can't change the way that my hero plays against Bloodseeker and, like, Peer Damage, OD, and Rupture just because we have those two heroes. Like, I need to still play like I'm an Anti-Mage, not like I'm a fucking, you know, Juggernaut or something, or Sven. Those types of heroes might actually be able to contribute in the fights, but for an AM in this situation, you don't fight. Absolutely fucking not. Unless you know for a fact that you're going to win that fight, you do not TP to a fight. At this point, I'm actually, I'm pulling kind of far ahead. I'm at like 8 or 9 CS a minute at this point, which isn't obviously spectacular. We didn't have the cleanest safe lane. I could probably be further ahead at this point than I am. I would just attribute that to poor lane control more than anything else. But I think the decisions that I've made so far, not getting myself killed really during the early game and making sure that my Battle Fury is out, that's a really big deal. Because now, if I'm off map, I can farm like ridiculously fast. During the early game, it's kind of annoying because you don't have Battle Fury cleave. AM's not a great, you know, creep hitting hero until he has like 1 or 2 core items. But yeah, another gank. I'm just gonna dodge it. I know the Slark was in our jungle. I just don't want any part of this. Like I'm so fucking out right now. I'm just like I'm out. That's it. Peace. We have 5 here, so I'm like turning around. I think I actually get a kill here on the Shadow Demon. So they're like dewarding. This guy's going ham. I noticed that the Fissure was most likely going to block him there, so I go in for a kill. Tanker steals it. I see the Bloodseeker, I fucking bail instantly. I'm like, nope. .jpg. I do not want. We can be happy with the 1 kill. And I'm not wasting any time. Like, I just blink back to farm creeps. My team is going back in. I think they actually clean up here. Yeah, the Slark bailed on the fight. I think they realized that faster than I did, actually. Like, I didn't see the Slark turning to go mid, so I was just hitting creeps instead. And I come back, assuming that we're going to keep pushing the lane. But, looks like everybody bailed, so... Oh, and the other thing, too, about that TP. When you TP like that, it's because you don't want to give away the tower to the Slark. We are ahead, at least in regards to the last couple of fights. I have good item timings, so I don't want to put myself in a spot where I'm giving that guy a tier 1 when I can easily defend it, and I know that there's no way he can kill me 1v1. When you're playing an AM, and you're ahead, you can always be the one TPing to a tower unless there's like heroes that can solo kill you, which obviously at this point, pretty much no one can solo kill me, but a Bloodseeker +1 can. So if I know that I'm TPing and there's no one else there, I'm pretty much always safe. I probably could have played a bit more aggressive at this point, because I do have a pretty significant advantage in terms of farm. Do I think hard is a core item? No, it's situational. It's definitely situational. I bought a heart at the end this game because my Vlad's had kind of outlived its usefulness and BKB doesn't help against Rupture, so I was kind of just under the assumption that the mass amount of HP would do me more good than having a BKB, because what am I BKBing? Like OD and I guess Earthshaker? That's it? If I play well, I don't need the BKB this game, and that's pretty much what I bank on. I don't bank on the fact that I'm going to be an idiot. Okay, so notice that Slark probably TP top, pressuring the lane again. Every time I have an opportunity to pressure, I'm always pressuring. Unless, for some reason, I get super spooked, but at this point you can see like my confidence is starting to get higher. Like I'm pushing this lane, the Bloodseeker's dead, life is good. I'm really trying to do everything that I can to force them to react to me, but as soon as the Bloodseeker gets lower and lower and closer to reviving, I just kind of don't want to be a part of it anymore. Blink back to lane, saw 3 heroes mid, want to pressure. I'm assuming that since the Bloodseeker didn't see me, he most likely teleported somewhere else. And worst case scenario, you know, he TPs, I just blink away and he can't kill me. But yeah, I still see like a million people mid. I actually TP here, but I blink away straight up because I should have actually. This is important. As soon as I saw that many heroes mid, there is no fucking way I should have TP'd there. This is a bad TP. This is really bad. If you look at how many heroes they committed to that, they most likely TP'd at least 1 or 2. I could be pushing bottom right now. I could get the tower. There's like, this is a terrible TP. This makes me lose so much control over the map, so much pressure. And now I'm in a situation where I have to basically bail and go to a suboptimal spot on the map for pressuring. That TP was really fucking bad. I need to be the one forcing them to TP, not vice versa. AM is not a hero who functions on TP counter ganking. He's the guy who you want to be looking at across the map and go fuck you and then TP to his lane because he's hitting your tower. So as soon as I realize my mistake, I try to get into a lane as fast as I can. I pretty much recognized instantly that it was a bad TP as soon as I got there, and I was kind of like annoyed at myself for that. But I'm hiding now because I didn't see which way they went. I was kind of assuming maybe they would try to cut me off, so I'm going to take the path back that's super safe. I saw the Bloodseeker leave our side of the map, so now I'm feeling pretty good. I pinged that cliff because I thought there might be a ward there, but it turned out he was just killing the camp. So, as far as AM items go, when's a good time for an early Hyperstone? If you can't die, you buy a Hyperstone. I ping again because I assume the Shadow Poison might have indicated a ward spot. I don't actually remember if there was one there. I guess from the looks of it there wasn't, but I just like to assume to be safe. If something ever happens where it looks like they might have vision, I just ping it. Because if you do get the D ward, then it's a really big thing, and if you don't get the D ward, it's like 100 gold, whatever. 15% scaling damage bonus from Blitz. How do you know when it's a good time to drop it? I usually drop it after Abyssal. It's like I finish Abyssal and then I get something else. Okay, so same shit, pretty much just trying to de-push the lanes. With Tinker and AM, you really want to play the lane game. Like, looking at their heroes, they're very gank-centric, right? The only person who has any semblance of wave clear is Slark. So if I'm just sitting and pushing waves 24/7, the way they punish me is by ganking. And if I don't get ganked and farm fast enough, get enough items to where, you know, the enemy Bloodseeker can't just rupture guarantee a kill anymore, then I know that the game has become very, very easy. So even though we're at a huge kill deficit, if you look at the farm and like the net worth, I'm very far ahead. I'm just going to continually play safe until I finish up my Manta style, which is a really big item. And then at that point, I'll be pretty much unkillable. Unless I really fuck up. I'm feeling more confident though, because even though that Slark's killing people, I don't really care. As AM, the nice thing about playing it into a Slark, especially a farmed one, is that he becomes a mana void target for you during the late game. And a lot of the time, Slarks will be forced to use their Dark Pact in a fight. So what I like to do is, I wait for him to go in, I watch for the Dark Pact, and as soon as he pops Dark Pact, if he doesn't have a Linken's, I immediately blink Abyssal Manta and go for a Mana Void on that hero, because he typically builds stats. Now, if you're playing Slark against AM, you pretty much don't want to build a Scotty for that reason, but a lot of Slarks will still do it. Helm of the Dominator doesn't work on AM, that's why. I don't get it. Daedalus can be an item on AM if you're ahead, but most of the time, you're not... You do enough damage with your Manta-style illusions and Mana Void to get kills most of the time. Alright, so this Shadow Demon's like horrendously out of position, so we just blast him there. And then Tommy pretty much suffers the same fate. Get the securing Mana Void, get some extra creeps. Let's go back actually and watch that again. Okay. So, my hero's under the ground. Standard ground skater AM. Okay, so I see a TP right away. There's two really important factors to understand why I jumped him. One, I see a TP, which means that if there are more people coming, that TP is going to be delayed. I know from the TP color that it's Shadow Demon. I know that Shadow Demon is an easy kill. I see this guy pretty much casting all his spells, so I know there's not going to be a single fucking disable. Which means that when I blink on this guy, he's obviously in a position that is super dangerous for him, but the Shaker has no way of helping. So unless he was able to walk back and get into Mana Void range, or not Mana Void, into Echo range, there's nothing he can do. So it's pretty fucking easy kill. This Slark TPs, don't really fucking care about him. He attacks me, whatever, he gets lasered. I don't think he dies here. I don't think he dies for quite a while. I blink and try to body block, but replays are super bugged. I get ruptured, TP away. In hindsight, I didn't have to TP there, but I wanted to play safe. I think my TP actually ends up getting a couple of my teammates killed, but the thing that I was mainly concerned with was I think that the Slark is coming back, and I think he's coming back with full health. If he comes back with full health and I don't have Mana Void, I don't want to take a fight. So I'd bail. Maybe preemptive, maybe not. The TP could have been the right call. Honestly, that one was a 50-50. If I stayed, there was a chance that I could have gotten a kill. There's also a chance that I would have died. And I just wasn't I wasn't willing to take that risk. Vlad's is optional, actually. If you have a CM, you can skip Vlad's and you can just go Vanguard. Or if you want to buy like raindrops and carry them around, it pretty much gives you the same mana regeneration as a Vlad's would anyway. And with Vlad's, or not Vlad's, with Vanguard and Teardrop, you pretty much have the same effect that a Vlad's would give you. It's less damage, but it gives you the sustain that you want by jungling because the Vanguard damage block, the health regen, and then obviously it builds into an Abyssal later. So it's a more efficient build to go Vanguard, but in this game I already kind of expressed the reason why I went for the Vlad's. So I'm pretty spooked at this point. Got my Basher though. I'm staying consistently about an item ahead of the Slark, or at least like a mid tier item, which is where you want to be. I'm really shooting for that like 30-minute Abyssal Battle Fury Manta. I could have had it a lot sooner if I didn't go for the Vlad's, but for obvious reasons the Vlad's is important. I fucking misclick here. Okay, great. Back to Farmerino. You can start with that. I already explained why. Just watch the VOD if you want to know. Miss Blink feels bad. I never skip Battle Fury unless the game is completely fucking owned and we're either dominating or getting dominated. So you can tell by how I'm blinking that I'm feeling much safer now. I have a lot of items. It's very hard for me to die at this point. I'm standing by the sentry because I have a feeling that we're getting ganked, and lo and behold, we are getting ganked. I pretty much bail straight up though, because I don't want to show if the Bloodseeker is there. Because if I get ruptured in the beginning of a fight, I'm either forced to TP or I pretty much can't do anything. So I click on the OD, check and make sure if and when he has mana. The Bloodseeker pretty much is out of the fight at this point. I'm still looking for opportunities to jump. I see one. That guy goes down. I don't think the Slark dies here either, actually, because we don't have any detection. But you can see that I'm waiting until I know for like 100% certain that I can actually jump. Because it doesn't really matter if the Spirit Breaker dies, and it doesn't matter if the Bounty Hunter dies. But if I'm alive and we're killing their cores, then I'm getting like a ridiculous amount more out of the engagements than they are. So as soon as I lose track of the Bloodseeker and I know that he hasn't cast Rupture, I'm just not really interested in blinking aggressively. It's a very good way to die in this game, is to get overconfident and blink into a Rupture, and then you just have to stand there and pretty much take it in the ass. It's not great. Yeah, tread swapping is necessary. Even with Vlad's, you will actually lose mana until you get higher level. You need the bonus stats. Another miss blink. I'm really close to Abyssal now. So I'm like, what, 12 CS a minute right now? It's not really spectacular, but I played a super passive early game. This game is like, it's not really over at this point for them, but it's really hard. Like, just look at the graphs. They were ahead for a while. It's still a pretty close game overall, but I'm pretty much our entire goal difference, more or less. But that's usually what happens, I guess, when you play Anti-Mage. I'm blinking mid because I see the Bloodseeker bottom. As soon as the Slark and Bloodseeker show themselves, I am all about this fight. I'm like, fuck yeah, .jpeg. But you'll notice, as soon as I see that brown player TPing, I'm like, oh Jesus. So I do a short blink to get the high ground. I TP out. I pretty much... We'll watch it one more time. So they're jumping this guy. You'll notice that I'm actually playing this pretty greedy. I'm assuming that that Shaker is dead as soon as he gets disrupted, so I'm going for the bonus kill. I'm not going for the Shaker. And because I'm going for the bonus kill, I blink in. I'm hoping for like some fucking first hit bash, but I don't get it. I saw the Bloodseeker TP, and I did not know the Slark was standing there. So at this point, this is the situation, what I was talking about earlier, when I said if you aggressively blink, this is what happens. I have Ruptured on me, I got fucking Abyssal Bladed, they're casting a Silence on me right now, I just popped my Manta. If that Silence hits me, I'm fucking dead. But I obviously can't blink that far because I'm Ruptured. So the best thing to do in this scenario is to blink up to the cliff and then TP, because they won't have vision of high ground, and obviously the Shadow Demon, even if he could get poison up there, won't have any vision for a disruption. So the only way I die is if the OD is standing up here waiting for me to blink. That's pretty much my thought process when I do this. Okay. So the SD wasn't close enough, got out. That was fucking scary, actually. I was pretty sure I was dead there, to be honest, when I was playing. I was like, fuck, I should not have aggressively blinked into the tower. Okay, so we got our Abyssal. This is pretty much when the game starts a turn. I'm going to pause it first. Actually, we can just let it play. It doesn't matter. This is the point in the game where AM becomes super fucking terrifying. Because if you're showing in a solo lane, I can now just annihilate you. Like, Abyssal, Manta, Mana Void, you are pretty much dead no matter who you are except for Slark. Slark is the only one who can live through it because he has a huge amount of health at this stage in the game. But this is a very big power spike. You notice, like, I'm debating going in. I just jump on him. I put the illusions on him. I get a bash. The Mana Void comes out. If that was any other hero, they would be dead. Fortunately, my Spirit Breaker was paying attention and he got a charge. So because he's now out of mana, and the fact that he was charged means he can't regenerate anything, we get the kill. Why blink into trees instead of up cliff? What are you talking about? I literally blinked up the cliff and into the trees. I was on the high ground. Okay. So this is the point in the game where I pretty much forgo a BKB. I thought about it for about 2 seconds, and then I realized that there's really only 2 heroes that I'm buying it for, and one of them really isn't that much of a threat to me at this stage. So I just decided that the thing that's going to kill me is if I get Ruptured and I'm standing there, having to trade right clicks with Rupture on. And the best way to defend against that is to get Evasion against the Slark, because he doesn't have MKB. So that makes me tankier, makes me split push faster, makes me better if I get Ruptured, so I can actually sit there and man fight, blah 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 blah. I got mana burn because I was against a Shaker in lane. And stats I already talked about could be fine too. I actually saved my Manta here. I don't want to blink either. I just want to hit the tower. I see my team diving, I'm like, this is fucking stupid, let's just hit the goddamn tower. The rage pings brought my team back from the brink of YOLO swag. Thanks for the sub, Bear Shark. Slark is countered by AM if you were on the same levels of farm. I'd say that AM should typically be an item ahead. Okay, so this is a call that I was like, we should not try to rush right now. I really wanted to try to get at least a pick before we go for Rosh, because this is a situation that we're currently in, right? If you look at the map, 2 lanes are pushed in. The 3rd lane, bottom, is being pushed in as we speak. Going for Roshan gives them an opportunity to, like, smoke up, get a Blink Echo on us or whatever, or Shadow Blade Echo, and that can actually turn the game in a really bad way. We're ahead right now. There's no reason to take the risk. If they go in the pit, we're still nearby, and we can actually go for some kind of counterplay. So I was like, I did not want to fucking rush right there. The only reason that I go back in is because I see one of their heroes top lane, and Slark is pretty much their highest net worth. So if their highest net worth is showing on the map, that's when I decide that it's okay to go back. And then he TP's bottom, and then we bail again. So I see that guy, I'm like, nope, 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 they want to fight. Okay, this fight's super important, okay? This fight's super, super, super important to understand why we won. So this guy, the Shaker, he goes into the back line. He kills the Lich pretty much before the Lich uses a single spell. But little does he know that the Lich is fucking worthless. Like, that hero doesn't do anything. He has 1400 net worth. So this guy just used all 3 of his spells to kill a 1400 net worth hero. The other part of it too is that I don't think the bounty hunter actually dies from this. So as soon as this guy uses all his spells, he's the only person on the team who can disable me when I jump in, except for them getting like Astral or whatever. Fortunately, I know that, so I'm pretty much only going in for the OD during this fight. So I'll pretty much watch what happens as soon as this guy wastes all his spells. We see the Purge. The Shadow Demon's kind of fucking off and doing whatever. I Abyssal this guy. The Shadow Demon's not close enough. I get the Mana Void off before the Disruption, and he even misclicks and disrupts one of my illusions. So at this point, the fight's over. It's just instantly over because of that Blink Abyssal. I mean, he got a 4-man fissure, but the 4-man fissure doesn't fucking matter. Like, the heroes that he killed don't matter. He has to be a counter-initiator for his team. He cannot be the hero who's going in first, unless he's hitting me with spells. If he's not hitting me with spells, he's not doing his job. So we kill 4 heroes, we're like, alright, sweet. Get to fucking kill the Rosha Milan. Would I say this is a decent Linken's game? I mean, it's not bad. If I bought Linken's, I would have played the game differently, though. That's something that you have to understand. It's not necessarily just about what item you're buying, it's about how you play with those items. Because I knew that there was going to be a Bloodseeker hunting me pretty much the entire game, and I didn't have Linken's, I had to play off-map. If I bought Linken's, I would have been showing a lot more often, I would have been pressuring a lot more often, and it would have been just a generally risky style. I personally don't like that for this type of game because we have Tinker and AM. So because of that, I decided not to go the Linken's build, but it did cross my mind. I don't think it would have been bad, you just would have had to have played around it differently than I did. Because I was eating a lot of our side of the map, where typically as AM, you don't want to do that. You want to be pushing lanes all the time and just being a general nuisance. But because, again, I was really scared of Brown, which this guy's like some kind of freaking legend, actually. I don't know what he was doing here, but he is super poor. I am ruptured here, so I decided to hold my blink. Popping Manta probably was a bad idea, but it doesn't matter because my Spirit Breaker came in, so I can just blink forward, go for the kills. Truthfully, that blink on the Shadow Demon should have been a blink on the OD, but didn't really matter. They both died anyway. So they hard commit. They take my Aegis, but they lose 4 heroes. So at this point, I am 2 items ahead of the Slark. And it's pretty much just because I didn't die. That's literally all it was, is just not showing myself, not getting ganked. So I have my Butterfly now. I am fucking strong. Even if I get ruptured at this point, I don't really give much of a shit. Because I have Abyssal Blade and I have Manta. So I don't even think I Manta this yet, I just sit there. I'm like, yeah, whatever. The reason I'm holding it is because if I see an opportunity for a Blink Abyssal, I just want to go for the kill straight up. I don't actually care about Mantaing off of Silence when there's no follow-up damage, so we just hit the buildings, easy peasy. I thought about actually blinking forward there, but I decided against it. I was going to blink forward and go for the SD kill, but I kind of figured that if I went for the SD, I'd probably get ruptured and all sorts of counter-initiation things were going to happen. My team is fighting mid right now. I just decided, fuck it, farming the woods ain't worth right now, let's just go hit the base. SD doesn't really counter AM that much, to be honest. Okay, so we saw that Shaker coming, which means he's just fucking dead. I saw the Slark with the Abyssal Blade, blink backwards, he Abyssals a creep. So this is the point where I ditch the Vlads. I sell Vlads for heart. Again, the only way I die is Rupture. BKB is not going to help me with that. I just really care about having the most effective health pool possible. I don't really need to be immune to stuns or anything crazy. We have pretty good vision of the base right now, so I blink up, I start hitting the tower. Forcing the enemy team to split up to defend their base when you have 2 heroes that are pretty decent at hitting buildings is just really nice. Just ensures that you're going to be able to get a lot of base damage. And obviously, they have to commit like 3 or 4 heroes at this point to kill me. I'm checking for mana void possibilities. I decided not to go in for that because I was waiting on my heart, and as soon as I pick up the heart, I go in. If the Slark had like no mana, I probably would have gone in. But yeah. At this point, I'm pretty much a golden Jesus. I mana void, which kills the OD because I knew the Slark was pretty anyway. He buys back, so I blink away. Actually, no, do I go for the kill? Alright, he gets imprisoned, then I run. That seems better. But I don't actually back completely out of the base. There's no reason to at this point. The highest calibration you can get is 4.6k. So at this stage, we pretty much won. I was kind of just sitting here fucking around. This guy abyssals me, so I think I abyssal him back. Lol. Don't really do any damage because I don't have mana burn on him or anything. Why did I go hard before bots? Because I was never going back to base. And I don't need bots when all my lanes are permanently pushed in by a Tinker anyway. You would buy Boots of Travel if you actually wanted to play the lane equilibrium game, but my Tinker is more or less doing that for me. I see them going on this guy, I'm like, alright, let's fucking do this shit. This guy fucks up his combo. I'm just like chilling, like, what's happening right now? I'm holding my blink for a very long time to wait for Rupture to wear off, because that's going to be the thing that by far does the most amount of damage to me. I actually died here, because I'm a greedy pile of shit. There is like literally no way I should ever farm this, but I was so greedy that I ended up dying. This was so greedy. And then I get 5 minutes. That was my one death this game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, that death was pretty bad. Very easily avoidable. I mean, yeah, the game is over at this point, truth be told, but I didn't have to die. Will you do a replay analysis of my ham spoilers at least?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But yeah, the game is pretty much over at this point. The big things that I wanted to emphasize about this game is understanding what your threats are as a core 1 position player. If you recognize what heroes are going to kill you and you can avoid them until you have your item timing, the game is going to become a lot easier for you. The main issue with this game, our team composition wasn't even really that good. Like, they could have just grouped up and started, like, YOLO swagging and going for smoke ganks and all this other shit and trying to kill me more than they did. But because they didn't, it allowed me to get my item timings pretty much exactly when I wanted them. And I just took over the game, because Anti-Mage. I think a lot of people don't understand how important it is to just have like 1 or 2 items when you're actually supposed to have them, and then deciding to fight after the fact. Am I doing another one? Nah, I'm just gonna do this game. Maybe play some sub games after. I'm kind of tired of playing ranked today.
I've sundered this cabal.
Satanic doesn't work on AM.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I wasn't talking this game because talking to chat and playing at the same time is very difficult for me.
Dire's middle tower.
A lot of the time when I'm doing that, I lose track of what I'm doing in the game and I lose focus. And a lot of the time it gets me killed. Like, That's why I said after this game, if I had been playing and I was talking to chat while I was playing this game, we might have lost because the Sark was really snowballing and the Bloodseeker was always looking for ganks. So if I die 1 or 2 times during the early mid game, this could be a completely different outcome. You know, it's a very, very stark difference. So yeah, that was it. That was the Anti-Mage game.